that down. Let's get back over to the NFL for a second here. One of the more interesting teams to me this year is the Indianapolis Colts, who going into this weekend's action, we actually have a winning record at 4-3, despite the fact that their quarterback, Anthony Richardson, has not exactly been playing great football. His completion record is 44% completions. 44%. He has thrown 4 touchdowns to 7 interceptions.
That's bad.
Nice.
He hasn't even thrown for 1,000 yards yet. He sits at 29th out of qualifying quarterbacks. Now, in yesterday's game, he checked himself out at one point because he was tired after a run.
You can do that?
See what I'm saying?
Well,
energy is a factor, John.
You know what? I'm going to defend him. I watched everybody. I watched Pat McAfee. I watched Rich. I watched everybody slagging on him for how dare you go sit out a play. You know what?
Didn't he have a long ass run though?
He did. Yeah. He had a long run. And often when a receiver makes a big long run or a running back makes a run, they'll pull him out for a play or two.
Yeah.
Often. I honestly did not see that's big of a deal, that after a run, he realized, you know what? I'm kind of winded right now. I might not be effective if I play the next down. Maybe I should do this selfless thing and let somebody else come in for a down or two. Then I'll come back in. I personally didn't have a problem with that. What I do have a problem with is throwing 7 interceptions to only 4 touchdowns and completing less than 45% of your passes. Yesterday's game, he completed 31% of his passes. He was 10 for 32. He was terrible. And I'm just going to say it right now. It's the new Tebow time. Oh. It's Flacco time. It's
Flacco for Flacco.
Joe Flacco time.
Flacco time.
Flacco went 1-1 as a start, looked good. Even in the game they lost, he put up big numbers. He looked great last year when Deshaun Watson went down and basically threw the Cleveland Browns on his back and carried them the rest of the way.
Backo.
Backo.
All right. Joe Backo.
And you've got a team that right now is 4-4 with terrible quarterback play. Now, listen, I'm not saying Anthony Richardson can't be a good NFL quarterback, but he clearly needs seasoning. He needs to sit behind somebody. And the reality is, making the playoffs for the Indianapolis Colts is not out of the question. But it is if Richardson's your quarterback. And so now the coach was asked about this, and he said, they asked him, is Richardson still your number one quarterback, your starting quarterback? And the coach said, as of right now, today, he's still our starting quarterback, which tells me he is making serious consideration about making a switch. Ryan, this is your team. The Colts are traditionally your team.
Yes.
I'm saying it's time for them to switch to Flacco. Give Richardson like a year to sit behind him, learn the game a little bit better, get his mechanics better, all that kind of stuff. And I think the way they're built, they're 4-4 with terrible quarterback play. I think they can make the playoffs. How do you see it?
Yeah, I think they need to make a decision. Do they want to try to make the playoffs, or do they want to use the season to see if Richardson is quarterback of the future and can improve? Because you can't do both. He's not throwing the ball well enough. He does run for touchdowns. He's very super athletic, but he's not making winning plays with the ball. His accuracy is questionable. He's just not, making the right throws. Flacco, he played 3 games, completed 65%, threw 7 touchdowns and only 1 pick.
That's pretty good.
That's a lot better than what you had.
Say
7 and 5.
those numbers again.
Yeah.
Now remember that Richardson has thrown 4 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, is completing 44%. What has Flacco done?
7 touchdowns, 1 interception, 65% completion.
How is this even a question?
He's we could put him in the Hall of Fame probably, but he's winding down. I thought he was done last year, but he's back this year. He can still throw it.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I thought he was done 5 years ago.
So he can still play, but they drafted Richardson with a 1st round pick. So you have to see what there is. He's already been playing, but the rest of the team is still there. They have a decent defense, a really good running back. They have good receivers, and Flacco is great at throwing the long ball. So that's what he did in Cleveland. He hit receivers with long, deep passes for touchdowns. So if they're serious about trying to make the playoffs, I think you have to bench Richardson and play Flacco, and then have Richardson learn for the rest of this year, try to improve, and then Flacco's probably not going to play next year. Then you have Richardson try it. I understand the concern about ruining his
Confidence?
but I don't, at this point, it's the team. He's not better than Flacco.
Because, I mean,
So you have to I think you have to make the change.
at some point, like, I understand the whole thing about wanting to see what you have in the rookie. Well, you're 8 games in.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to change
you
much.
as like forget even as a coach, as an organization, do you not have a responsibility to your team and to your fans? As like, look, it's very realistic we can make the playoffs
Yeah.
if we play Joe Flacco. If we put him in, we have a better chance to win. Don't you owe it at that point to your team, to your locker room, to your fans to like do what you can do to win games? This isn't a lost season at this point. It's not like they're already eliminated from the playoffs. No. They're in the hunt. Like, I just don't see how you can justify keeping Richardson as quarterback with the numbers that he's putting up right now. No, it just doesn't seem practical. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Anthony Richardson is throwing for just threw for 31% completion records. He's taken himself out of the game. Doesn't seem to be all that concerned by the fact that he can't complete passes. It's time to go to Joe Flacco, who's putting up great numbers. Whatever you guys think, jump down in the comments below and let us know your thoughts.